for over a half century after we became a state. The only appellate court in New Mexico was the New Mexico Supreme Court. And the workload was getting too heavy as the state grew and the caseload grew. The Supreme Court couldn't keep up with it all. And there was first a proposal to expand the Supreme Court from 5 justices to 7 justices. And instead, there was a wise decision made to create an intermediate court of appeals in New Mexico. And what a wise decision that was. So in 1966, the New Mexico Court of Appeals was founded with 4 judges on the Court of Appeals. We still had more justices than the Court of Appeals had judges. That didn't last for long. That was in 1966. By 1972, a 5th judge was added. We were tied. This Court of Appeals had sort of grown out of our side, sharing the one common building, the old WPA building that the Supreme Court still sits in out there, that was built back in the 1930s, had now grown to 5 judges from the Court of Appeals. And then in 1979, it was expanded to 7 judges. They now outnumbered us. And they accomplished another first, because they added the first 2 women on an appellate court in New Mexico history when Judge Andrews, Leila Andrews, and Judge Mary Walters joined the Court of Appeals, when it was expanded from 5 to 7. And that existed up until 1991. And then the Court of Appeals was expanded to 10 judges. By that time, it was impossible to keep us all in the same building. And so a year or so before, they had taken up space down here by the law school in this building that the Institute of Public Law also occupies. So we had some judges down there and some judges up there. And in the greater fiscal time, the time when the state was not in such a financial crisis as we're in now, there was an effort to create a dedicated building down here for the Court of Appeals, and we're sitting in it now here today to see the result of all of it. And I'm glad that the idea was brought to fruition at a time when it was possible to afford this. With the help of some good supporters of the judiciary and the legislature, I understand Representative Saavedra may be here today. Is that correct? There. Has always supported us in every way that is possible, and I think we're continuing to try to work with Representative Saavedra and the other good people in the legislature who are dealing with the fiscal crisis that we're all facing here. But I don't think this building would have been possible if the proposal came up today, and it's a wonderful facility. During the time that the court grew in number and developed this building, the court also grew in lots of other ways. The pre-hearing division, the mediation, all the other things that the Court of Appeals has developed. It's grown from being something that sort of grew out of the Supreme Court into a great force of its own. And the Court of Appeals judges and the Supreme Court justices have worked together very well over the years. We do it formally and informally. Each year we have an appellate judges retreat where we get together and share ideas and work together and so on. We also work informally in other ways. Sometimes on the Supreme Court we have to critique their opinions, and sometimes they do the same with us. Judge Hill, shortly after I came onto the Supreme Court, came up to me in a restaurant and commented on a recent opinion, and he said, "Bad Supreme Court." It's true, isn't it? But one of the finest compliments I've received on any opinion I've authored since being on the court was one where we took a different view from the panel that Judge Hill was part of in the Court of Appeals, and he, instead of saying bad Supreme Court, he reconsidered his view. And I don't remember if you patted me on the head or just made the motion. You said, "Good Supreme Court." relationship with our colleagues on the Court of Appeals. In fact, even before this grand opening, Judge Fry and our fellow judges on the Court of Appeals invited us to come down here and experience their courtroom and hold a couple of Supreme Court arguments here where the students can come over and we can enjoy the courtroom. It's a great courtroom. If you haven't seen it, please see it before you go. It has those seminar rooms in the back that the dean talked about. The acoustics are great. It's bigger than our courtroom. But of course, this whole building is bigger in every way. It's a great facility. It has recycling up there for that rooftop penthouse garden that they have on top. But they're really trying to be frugal. Representatives of England, they're trying to be frugal because even though this is a wonderful facility, they're still trying in every way to cut costs. You know, they have lights that go off automatically when you leave a room here and save electricity. They are trying to be so conscious of saving money that they turn off the burglar alarms at night. But not the security cameras. I have here a DVD of some visitors we had in the Court of Appeals. Someday we need to get some kind of security. And I'm especially honored that this building was named after our friend, our colleague, someone who's special to so many of us. Back a long, long time ago when I was young, and Justice Minster was not Justice Minster or Judge Minster, but was a young law professor. She and I had offices down the hall from each other over in the law school. And whenever I pass by her portrait at the Supreme Court, I think of those days there. And I knew she was destined for greatness, and I think we